Tonight we're going to have Tina Foster on talking about the Paul is dead conspiracy. We're going to look into doubles and doppelgangers, ideas that might just spread some illumination on some of the things like Saddam Hussein. Is Osama bin Laden still alive? So many things to cover. We'll see you on the other side. Where is the sacrifice? Where is the religion? Where is the spirituality? Where is our knowledge coming from? And where is the Illuminati going? I'll tell you what, you start a little bit of a research into the Illuminati, into secret societies and mass cover-ups, CIA, NSA, FBI, and you find some strange and interesting places to look. Now, there was one such member of researcher Fritz Springmeier, who's now in prison, and he wrote the Deeper Insights to the Illuminati Formula, and also How to Create Your Own Undetectable Mind Control Slave. Very interesting books that get into the ideas of mind pattern programming, into ritual abuse to bring about multi-personality disorder, and using this altars to contact other beings in other dimensions. But on top of this, he gets into not only that, but bloodlines. Fritz Springmeier is very famous for the bloodlines of the Illuminati. And when you get a little deeper, you start getting into the ideas of clones, synthetics, organic robotoids, and doubles. Now, this has been a tactic used by the Illuminati, by many secret societies or other orders in the world to confuse and to deceive a nation, deceive people, and to be used as particular methods of control. And so when I was going through Fritz Springmeier and I got to the idea on his section on clones, synthetics, organic robotoids, and doubles, now he swears up and down that Jimmy Carter that he met was absolutely a double. Now, you ask me, when I look at Osama bin Laden, I'd say there's at least a quintuple. But to discuss this idea of doubles, organic robotoids, doppelgangers, and the idea of these type of Illuminati infiltrations by puppets, I have invited Tina Foster on the show, and we're going to have a interesting discussion on Paul McCartney. Was he replaced by a double, and why? And some other deeper insights. So welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Well, why don't you just start off, first of all, just tell us a little bit about doubles and what brought you to the thoughts of doubles.
Well, as you mentioned, doubles are used as a way to psych out people. A popular person, if he won't go along with the agenda, then that person can be either murdered or suicided or meet with a tragic accident. And if that person happens to be popular, then what can happen is that a double will be put in his place so that the double can exploit that person's popularity so that people will follow him when he goes along with the agenda, that he can bring other people along with him. So for the example of Paul McCartney, he was replaced and he was popular. So the double, who is called Saul, could promote the agenda, which I believe was linked to MK Ultra and LSD.
Well, there definitely
sort of mind control.
There was definitely something to this British invasion. There's definitely a concept that seems to have infiltrated the mindset of America. And I believe that it was a bit of a Marxist takeover, a communist takeover, if you will, using these British bands. Now, there was a lot of hype about the Beatles, as if that was all just a giant stage show. And they weren't as popular as they were made out to be. But when you tell somebody they're popular, then they become so. Not to say the Beatles weren't talented. But I did see where they would use the Beatles to bring this idea of long hair into this religious society and turn the children against their parents.
Right, exactly. Some people have linked the British invasion to the Tavistock Institute, which is a British PSYOPs organization that has actually been in use since before World War II, and was actually involved in intelligence and low psychological operations. But I do think the Beatles were very talented, and they were just exploited
I agree with you there.
For the agenda. which I agree with you was a gender war with the younger generation against the older generation.
Absolutely. You can see it clearly in the videos where they're interviewing the children about their long hair, because this was a big deal. I mean, nowadays, I have long hair. We don't see it as it's already infiltrated through, but Elvis shaking his hips was a big deal, and this long hair was a very big deal, and it caused a lot of schisms between families. There's no doubt about it. And the first step in this type of communist takeover would be to separate the children from the family, and no better way than to give them a rebellion. Right?
Exactly.
Well, let's get into Paul now. What happened to Paul?
Well, the official story began in October of 1969 when a caller called into Russ Gibbs' Detroit radio show saying Paul McCartney was dead. And that is what touched off the, quote, hoax. And people started looking for clues because I guess it wasn't as easy to compare videos and photographs as it is now with the internet. And a lot of people found clues in the songs, backmasking, songs such as Revolution Number 9 has Turn Me On Dead Man when you play it backwards. And so it became actually a really huge thing where a lot of people suspected something had happened to Paul, that he had died, that he was replaced. And then Life magazine sent a reporter up to Scotland to interview, quote, Paul, and ask, are you dead? Which, of course, he's going to say no, but he should have asked, are you the same Paul as before? And the Life magazine article, it had a spread, it had a layout, but it didn't have any pictures before 1967. So when people are looking at pictures of Paul in 1969 comparing to 1967, really all it did was prove that the same Paul in 1969 was the same one as 1967. But it quieted the rumors because most people accepted that Life magazine was telling them the truth.
Well, all right. Well,
but in fact,
we're coming up on a break, so let's pick this up on the other side, and we'll look into this.
Okay.
We're going to get deeper. In 1966, a fiery car crash seemed to have taken out Paul McCartney. Is this the truth? More on the other side. This is the Free Zone with my special guest, Tina Foster. Well, for all of you that like to keep on top of the Freeman broadcast, I will be on the Warrior Society at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, September 30th. Be a good show there. I'm just taking them as they come. There's no doubt about it. It's a lot of fun to do what I do and hopefully even save the world along the way. So in that vein, I have Tina Foster with me, and we are discussing Paul McCartney. Did he die? Was he replaced by a double? How often is this being used? These are the type of things that we're going to start looking into now. So 1967 or 66, November 9th, fiery car crash seems to take Paul McCartney. Some say this was a rumor, some say a conspiracy. What do you say, Tina? What happened to Paul McCartney?
I think he died before November, actually. There is no consensus, but people tend to think that he died actually before October. So sometime between August 19th, 1966, which was the Memphis interview during their North American tour, and October. So sometime in that time frame. But I do not believe that it was an accident at all. I think